Hey, what's up everybody, and welcome back to Newstos. And unfortunately, we have yet another delay to talk about today, and this is a pretty big one for the PlayStation 5 and the PlayStation 4. This is an upcoming first-party exclusive and probably the most anticipated game that was set to release this year. Unfortunately, that's no longer the case, and we'll go over all of that later in the video and what it means for the PlayStation 5. Now, we also need to talk about a first-party Xbox game that is now being delisted from the Xbox Microsoft Store as well as Xbox Game Pass. Yeah, apparently I'm just the bearer of bad news today or something, but we do actually have a lot of good topics to go over as well, so let's just go and jump right into it, starting off with a couple of independent games, both of which are easily some of the best independent games I've played in recent years. So let's just go ahead and go over each one of these real quick, and the first of which would be Outer Wilds. Now, the Outer Wilds released into Xbox Game Pass a couple years ago, and I did review this one explaining it as a bit of a masterpiece. It's a very special game, all about exploration and solving the puzzles of its unique and interesting universe. The universe does blow up about every 20 or so minutes where you have to start completely anew, but you're always pushed forward to just kind of solve the mysteries of its universe, and it's just a very fascinating and very well-made game. If you've played the game, you kind of know what I'm talking about, but if you haven't, definitely go check it out. But for those who have played this game, the good news is that there is going to be some DLC added on September 28th for the PlayStation 4, Xbox, and PC. Now, we don't exactly know what this DLC will include, but it does directly tie in with the main story, so there is that. But I think that's kind of fitting for this game in general. Again, it's all about solving the mystery of its universe, so I think it's kind of fitting that we don't know too much about the DLC, but just because the Outer Wilds was so good, I do expect its DLC, Echoes of the Eye, to be another great overall experience. And again, it does release on September 28th for the PlayStation 4, Xbox, as well as PC, so if you like the Outer Wilds, look forward to checking that out. Now, as for this other independent game, and this is one that I've really enjoyed over the last year, and that is for CrossCode. Now, I personally think CrossCode is one of the best independent games that's currently out right now. It's like this mix of Zelda with its dungeons, and then you have combat more similar to something like Trials of Mana. It feels excellent to play. It's got a really good story where you're in an MMO-style world. It's just the whole package. And well, the good news here is that CrossCode will be getting an expansion that continues the story with a new chapter. That's right, consoles will finally get that CrossCode expansion, A New Home, on August 5th, and this will release for the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and the Nintendo Switch. Now, PC players have already had the luxury of being able to play this for quite a while now, and I mean, based off of Steam reviews, the expansion, A New Home, is yet another masterpiece, so if you did like CrossCode and you want to see more to the story, yeah, you might want to go check out A New Home when it releases on August 5th. It does contain around 8 to 10 hours of content, including a new dungeon larger than others in the game, as well as new enemies, boss fights, music tracks, and more, so it's sounding pretty good, and like I said, that original was just such a great overall game. Definitely one of the best independent games and RPGs that I've played in a very long time. Now, speaking of really good independent games, here's one that I've been wanting to talk about in the last couple days, and that is Death's Door. Now, Death's Door released last week for the Xbox and PC, and so far it seems like both fans and critics are absolutely loving this game. It's currently got an 86 overall score on Metacritic, and pretty much everybody that I've seen play this game, they have just been absolutely praising it. And well, I decided to go ahead and try this game out myself and see what all the hype was about, and you know, for once, it seems like the hype was correct about this game. It really is an excellent game. Kind of plays out like classic Zelda games with that top-down, isometric type of camera angle. You got some puzzles and some different combat, and you know what? Beyond just the Zelda comparisons, Death's Door is legitimately a very good game and probably one of the best independent games that I've played in quite some time. I think, hands down, it's one of the best independent games that I've played in 2021 so far. And that's why I'm really rooting for this game. I think it deserves more recognition. But, the good news here is that they did already confirm that Death's Door has reached 100,000 players within its first week on the market. And that is a great overall sign. It really shows you right now that word of mouth is working and that people are recognizing that, this is a really good title. People are enjoying it. They're talking about it. And for a game that really hasn't had much marketing at all, that is excellent news to hear that they've already reached 100,000 new players. Again, I just think that kind of shows you the quality of this game because I think word of mouth is really carrying it right now. And that's exactly why we're talking about it today. In other words, if you haven't already heard about this game, well, you have now, and you can kind of make the decision yourself on whether or not this is the type of game you would like for yourself. Now, unfortunately, we do need to talk about a big delay that kind of changes the landscape for the PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4 this holiday. And that is for Horizon Forbidden West. So this rumor was originally coming from Jeff Grubb over on VentureBeat, which said that he had heard that Horizon Forbidden West might release in 2022 and that Sony would announce that at a PlayStation State of Play sometime this September. Now, he did say that he wasn't completely sure that this was going to happen, but interestingly enough, Jason Schreier over on Bloomberg later on corroborated this same exact thing, saying that yes, he and his sources close to the situation has also heard that Horizon Forbidden West will be delayed to Q1 of 2022. And the thing about Jason Schreier, whether you like him or not, he is accurate when it comes to his reports. More often than not, when he reports on something, it usually does happen. So this is about as close as we're going to get to a confirmation until PlayStation announces it themselves. So right now, it does look like Horizon Forbidden West will release in 2022 instead of this holiday. And I know right away that's going to be disappointing, especially for new PlayStation 5 owners. Horizon Forbidden West is probably the most anticipated game for PlayStation 5 owners this year, outside of maybe Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. And Horizon Forbidden West is probably going to be bigger because, well, Horizon Zero Dawn was massive on the PlayStation 4. So I know there's a lot of excitement for this particular game, but I'm just going to kind of repeat what I say about all these delays. Just kind of be patient, because the most important thing for these games is that they are good day one. I say the same thing about every third-party release. I said the same thing about Halo Infinite when it got delayed, and I'm going to say the same thing with Horizon Forbidden West. Again, the number one most important thing for gamers is that the game is good day one. First impressions for games are extremely important, so you know what? I'm just going to say the same thing I say with every other delay, and Guerrilla Games, take your time, be healthy out there, and just make the best game you possibly can. Now, with that said, I know the next question will be, how does this particular delay for Horizon Forbidden West affect the PlayStation 5 this holiday? And really, it doesn't affect the PlayStation 5 at all. And the reason I say that, and this is kind of a similar situation that we've been seeing with Halo Infinite. Halo Infinite was delayed from the Xbox Series launch to sometime this holiday, and fans really made a major deal about this. Like, oh, this is just terrible, and how is the Xbox Series going to sell after Halo Infinite was delayed? Well, guess what? The Xbox Series since launch has been selling out within minutes every single time new stock goes up online. It's almost as if these early adopters are going to buy these consoles regardless if these titles are available today or tomorrow. And this is something that I've kind of repeatedly said on this channel. Early adopters don't just buy consoles for games that are available today. They're buying these consoles for all their future titles as well. There's already a lot of things to really like about the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series, including these are just ultra powerful machines. You can run these games that's been held back for years at 60 frames per second. And regardless of exclusives or not, there's just a lot of games to play on these devices right now. And for that matter, the PlayStation 5 will have several attractive exclusives that you can pick up this holiday, including Demon's Souls. You can pick up Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, as we just mentioned, as well as Returnal. So there will be plenty of good games that you can pick up this holiday for the PlayStation 5, whether that be exclusive or third-party multi-platform games. And that right now is what we're seeing early in this generation. There's a lot of excitement for the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series, and these consoles will continue to sell out throughout the rest of the year. So Horizon Forbidden West is not going to affect the PlayStation 5 in a negative way. The PlayStation 5 is going to sell out regardless of if this game releases this holiday or not. Now, this does mean that PlayStation might sell less software this holiday because they're missing one of their big titles, but they'll make up for that whenever it does release sometime next year. And like I keep saying, the most important thing is to have a good game day one, and that's hopefully what we're going to get with Horizon Forbidden West when it does eventually release. Next up, though, we do need to talk about an Xbox first-party game that will be delisted from the Microsoft Store as well as Xbox Game Pass on September 15th. That is for Forza Motorsport 7. Yeah, this was an official statement made by the Forza Motorsport's Twitter account where they say on September 15th, 2021, Forza Motorsport 7 will reach end-of-life status. This means that the game and its DLC will no longer be available to purchase. For more info, check out our latest blog post. So there you have it. Forza Motorsport 7 will be coming to an end, or at least when it comes to digital purchases. Now, if you own this game or its DLC, you will continue to own this game and be able to play it online even after September 15th. You'll also be able to re-download it at any time you want, so this will not take your purchase away. And of course, you also have the physical edition out there, which you can pick up at any time you want. Now, DLC is kind of a different story, but the physical edition of Forza Motorsport 7, as long as you can pick that up, you will be able to play this game online with all of your friends or competitively or however you want to play it. Now, as for the reason that Forza 7 is actually being delisted from being purchased digitally, well, that is because of third-party licenses that they use to feature real-world cars. Once those expire, they then have to delist these games digitally, and this is something that really happens quite often when it comes to the racing car genre as a whole. For that matter, we've seen this happen with past Forza games as well. So this isn't really new to the racing genre or anything like that. This is something that you just kind of expect by this point. But I will say that this happening with Forza 7 is a little bit more unfortunate than some of the past releases, and that's simply because we don't have a new Forza Motorsport game to replace this title. This is the newest Forza Motorsport, so to have it be removed from the digital storefront, that's unfortunate for both Xbox and fans alike. Now, do keep in mind that you can still pick up Forza 7 before the 15th digitally, and you will continue to own it even after it gets delisted. And then on top of that, you do have the physical release that you can continue to buy even after that digital release gets delisted. And you know, this is just kind of another reason that physical media is so great. Now, the good news here is that Forza Horizon 5 will be releasing this holiday, and even though that's not going to be a replacement for the Motorsport series, Forza Horizon 5 does look excellent, and hopefully we won't have to wait too long before that next Forza Motorsports game releases. I mean, from what it sounds like, the next Forza Motorsports release sounds like it's going to be a revolutionary jump, so hopefully it won't be too far around the corner. And next up, before I have to go, I actually do have some good news for Xbox fans, as it looks like State of Decay 3 will be running on Unreal Engine 5. Now, this was confirmed in a job listing where it does say that they're looking to implement audio through blueprints of Unreal Engine 5. And right away, that is actually very exciting news. We kind of saw earlier this week with that Coalition tech demo just how much of a jump graphically it is with Unreal Engine 5 from Unreal Engine 4. It is a massive jump graphically, so any game that's running on Unreal Engine 5, yeah, right away that's going to be very exciting. And you know what? A lot of these Xbox studios does use Unreal Engine, so I think this is going to be kind of the new normal for them. We're going to see a lot of these upcoming Xbox exclusives run on Unreal Engine 5, and that is a great choice, again, as we saw with that tech demo. It really does look absolutely excellent. But State of Decay 3 is a very interesting title because this will be Undead Labs' first game since being acquired by Xbox. And this is really one of those studios that I think could really just unlock their potential being acquired by Xbox. State of Decay 1 and 2 are among some of the better zombie-related titles, but they've always been kind of hampered down by their technical issues. And with Xbox's full support this time for State of Decay 3, we could see a real big jump up from State of Decay 2 to State of Decay 3. And with them now running Unreal Engine 5, that just kind of gives me even more hope that we do see that big jump with State of Decay 3. I think this is definitely a game we might need to pay attention to, so if you were looking forward to State of Decay 3, well, here's just another reason to look forward to it even more. Let's take a look at the poll of the day, though. Yesterday, PlayStation did announce that they would finally allow for solid-state drive expansions with the PlayStation 5, and while that sounds like great news, not everybody was particularly happy with it because it's not necessarily the most straightforward process as some fans were hoping for. If you do want to expand the storage for the PlayStation 5, you're going to have to do some research to find a good solid-state drive that's compatible, and it might also require a heatsink. So you're going to have to do a little work to actually install this thing as well, and for console space, that's a little bit different, especially for those who are not necessarily tech-savvy. Now, on the other side, you have the Xbox Series, which offers proprietary solid-state drive expansion. It's this little memory card-like thing where you just kind of plug it in and play. Now, because there's less options, you might get less speed than certain solid-state drives that are able to run in the PlayStation 5, but it does seem to be cheap right now and it's really easy to use. So both of them kind of has their pros and cons, so I thought I'd ask you all, which one do you prefer? Do you prefer the way PlayStation is expanding their storage, or do you prefer the ease of use from the Xbox Series? And well, interestingly enough, it does appear the Xbox Series is the runaway winner here, with 82% of you voting for the Xbox Series. And you know what? I do agree with you all, or at least currently. I do like what PlayStation is doing here, or at least on paper. I like that they're giving you a lot of different options, but I still like that ease of use with the Xbox Series memory card. When it comes to the console space, some people get really nervous about opening up their console, so I think that right away is going to detract a lot of people from expanding their storage. And on top of that, or at least currently with the PlayStation 5, there's not an official list of recommended solid-state drives. Now, when PlayStation does publish their own recommended list of solid-state drives, that will make things a lot better. But even then, we do need to see the prices for solid-state drives decrease, which that will happen within time. And really, when you start to think about these different speeds and prices, the Xbox Series will get more of these memory cards as well in the future from different third-party developers. So even though Xbox Series currently only has one option, it will have more options in the future, which could make pricing a little bit more competitive over there, as well as speeds on top of that. So I think in both situations with the Xbox Series and the PlayStation 5, there's definitely your pros and cons, though as of this moment, I'm going to have to go with the ease of use with that Xbox Series memory card. Anyways though, that's it for this episode, but if you liked the video, don't forget to bell notification and subscribe button for more content just like this. Also, if you'd like to support the channel through Patreon, thank you for making this content possible. Peace out.